Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your November 2021 New Moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Taurus be affected by the November 2021 new moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have Judgment and we have Temperance. So we have, I like this. We have a raising out of a box, a sense of feeling trapped. And we have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy coming forward. This sense of balance coming in. All right. Yeah, and if we have Sagittarius in our natal chart, that's going to come through very powerfully at our root, or if we know a Sagittarius. We have the Ten of Swords in our inner self, and the Three of Swords. Mentally, we're releasing something, and we have to release this. There's something that we've been carrying around, and it can be for some of us, we've been carrying this around for like a decade. It's been building and building and building and building, and now it's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done with this. We're taking all the knowledge that we've learned, and it's what we're defending ourselves with now. And we're also really embracing a lot of things that have wounded us quite deeply. This moon is going to be intense. I mean, no joke. We have the Six of Swords, the Chariot, which is Cancer energy coming through. And we have Temperance again, which again is Sagittarius energy. So if we have Cancer in our natal chart or in our lives, or we have Sagittarius again in our natal charts or in our lives, they're coming through and going to affect us very powerfully at an emotional level, as well with Sagittarius at our root, at the basis of us. We have the Page of Swords, which is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is also becoming a student of our voice, being very vigilant about what we want, cutting through, again, a lot of doubt and fear. And all of a sudden, the world starts to open to us because we have become that student of what we want, what we're saying, what we're thinking, what we're feeling. Now, let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Taurus needs to be mindful of? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. We have the King of Cups. Emotional manipulation. That's very much going to be the key here. We're going to need to be mindful of emotional manipulation. It's based off of things that we have our weaknesses too. We have our scars too. And this person is going to know exactly what buttons to press. This person's bark is a lot worse than their bite, meaning that they can just billow. All right. They have this tendency to just yell, and they'll just yell and scream and say things that they won't even remember saying. So just be mindful of this. We can have a tendency to get into rouse during this time, because it's going to be like, I've let this go for so long, and now I'm done. I'm not going to let it go anymore. It's going to be like having stuff on the back burner, right? Having pots on the back burner. And either those pots are going to burst into flame because everything that was just simmering in them has boiled off and there's nothing left, or they're just going to overflow. So it depends on what's going on in our lives, how we're going to react to it. But it's either going to be fire, instant fire, or it's going to be this overflowing of emotions and intensity. So do be mindful there. We're going to be dealing with people and we're going to be, it's going to be a time where we confront a lot of people who have been emotionally draining us and emotionally kind of holding the cards when they don't have a right to. So just be aware of that. We have our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Flexibility. This is the Sacral Chakra. Now, the Sacral Chakra is where we hold our creativity, our sensuality, our sexuality, but it's also where we hold a lot of the trauma drama from this life and from past lives. So here, there is this need for flexibility within our lives with ourselves, within our lives with what we're creating, with what we want, with the bigger picture of what we're going after. And so that's going to be very powerful, and that's going to be very important for us to be able to be flexible, to be able to think outside of the box, but also to really look at what we want and what's been holding us back. That's going to be a very big part of this new moon for us. It's going to be what has been holding us back, what has been denying us, where has it become too much. And with this new moon on the 4th of November is in Scorpio. So that's water sign energy. And we can have a bit of an issue with everything that's coming up emotionally that this moon is bringing up, because it says work through your fears. And what's going to happen is a lot of the things that have held us back, a lot of the things that have held us silent, a lot of the things that we were just too afraid even to look at now is coming to a head. And it's like, no, I'm done. No, I'm done. It's over. And now I have to face it, especially inwardly. I mean, Taurus, we're just going to feel compelled. It's almost going to be like we're pulled this way. And even if we wanted to stop it, Spirit's like, you can't stop it. It needs to happen. It needs to be purged. Now, the new moon is always the sun conjunct the moon, all right, which brings us the power of the new moon, which represents the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. With this sense of clear direction that comes from this ending and this beginning, we have this burst of energy, this burst of insight, this need to be done with what has been holding us back and to achieve what we really want. And that's the power that this moon always brings forward. The new moon always brings forward. We feel balanced within our emotional self and within our emotions in general. That's why the balance is coming through so very strongly. The Sagittarius energy is coming through so powerfully. This is an exciting time for beginnings, and it's an excellent time for beginnings and for endings. But we need to know how to utilize that energy, how to end what needs to be ended and begin what needs to be begun. We've been putting it off for a while. This is a time where we really look at things. We look at things that we've been putting off. We look at things that need to be addressed. And we do so. And we might do so like a bull in a china shop, because that's the Taurian way when it just needs to get done. But we're working through our fears. And we're seeing our fears for what they are. The limitations that can hold us back. But also those moments in our lives where we need to grow and we need to be pushed this way. Now, astrologically speaking here, the new moon is going to be opposite Uranus. Now, this brings us a struggle for independence, and this brings everybody a struggle for independence. So what we have is a time where everybody's trying to find themselves, everybody's trying to figure out who exactly that is, who exactly they are. But this is also going to be a time where nobody likes to be told what to do. We're all demanding something new, something extraordinary, something out of the ordinary. And with the new moon opposite Uranus, we're also all being hit with this chaotic, brilliant change that happens suddenly. For some of us, it's not going to be so brilliant. It might just be chaotic and intense and overwhelming. For others of us, it is going to be brilliant. It's going to be like, oh, wow, I never thought of that. Or, oh, wow, I didn't think I could open up that door. So do be aware of that. The unexpected is going to become the expected of this time. It's like, okay, I didn't expect this to come this way. I didn't expect that curveball. So just be aware. It can take time to adjust to all this changing energy. So we need to keep an open mind, and don't be hard on yourself. You're going to really want to be hard on yourself because, again, that's the Taurian way. Let us be hard on ourselves. Let us take on all the responsibility. But what Spirit is saying here is settle yourself into your energy, into what you desire, into the changes that are around you. Stay in tune with your inner self. Don't let others influence you, because it's going to be so easy, especially since inwardly we're dealing with so much, we're looking at so much, and we're going to be equating every struggle that we have during this time with the struggles from the past. And that's why Spirit's saying be flexible. Don't go off of past emotions. Don't go off of past ideals or ideas. Stand in the now and see where that takes you. See what develops. This is a time to step out of our comfort zone, okay? We need to embrace what we desire, and we need to embrace the new and the unusual, to go after that adventure. And it's going to be a little bit difficult for us to want to go after that adventure, because we're going to think, oh no, that's going to be selfish, or that's going to be egotistical. And Spirit's like, no, take that adventure, even if it's small, even if it's something that people think like, oh, that's no big deal. It'll be something beautiful for you. It'll be something beautiful and heartwarming and lovely. So do so. Mercury is sextile Venus, which brings harmony. So we have the chaos of the new moon opposite Uranus, and then we have the beauty of Mercury sextile Venus. As the new moon, has the unexpected coming in with it being opposite Uranus, Mercury sextile Venus helps center us from this chaos and helps us to really become aware of ourselves, of what's good for us. And it's also embracing these great communication skills. We have Mercury, which is all about communication. We have Venus, which is all about love. So that those two really come together quite powerfully. Things can seem much more overwhelming during this time, but we have the tools, we have the energy to center ourselves and be able to de-stress and really look at what it is that we want. Mercury sextile Venus brings love, it brings friendship, it brings cooperation and compromise, which is going to be important during this, new moon opposite Uranus that has nobody wanting to compromise at all. People start to come together. Ideas start to come together. Even as the new moon is opposite Uranus, which has us all wanting to go our own way, we have this sense of, with Mercury sextile Venus, the sense of camaraderie, the sense of understanding, the sense of working towards a greater goal. Now, the stars during this new moon are quite important. Let's start off with the constellation of the Crown, which has us reaching our highest artistic abilities. It brings a love for flowers, so we can really find ourselves being drawn to flowers, being drawn to floral prints, wanting to know the deeper meaning of flowers, liking the language of flowers. Those are going to be things that really start to interest us. But with the Crown also comes mental weariness and disillusionment. We can feel like it's all just been too much, kind of like the weight of the crown that we're wearing is too intense and too heavy. Within the Crown constellation is the fixed star Alphecca. Now, Alphecca is of the nature of Venus and of Mercury, which are already the two planets that are heavy hitters during this time. This Alphecca, this fixed star, brings honor and dignity while enhancing our artistic and poetic abilities. So it's going to be a very beautiful time for words, our relationship with words, and this sense of being able to express ourselves, but also being able to stand within ourselves. The constellation of the Cross which is the next constellation that comes into play, gives us this perseverance, a sense of I can almost handle everything, but it also brings with it burdens, hardships, and suffering. So we do have to be mindful of that we can kind of say I can handle too much. We take on too much during this time. The fixed star within the constellation of the Cross is the fixed star Archus. And this is of the nature of Jupiter, which brings religious and spiritual inclinations, and this inclination towards ceremonies and justice, and this whole beauty around religions or mysticism, this whole sense of deeper spiritual meanings. They're going to be really calling to us. If it does nothing else, it brings us to seeing the magic within the world that we could have lost sight of. When you have a little kid and everything's, oh, wow, this is going to be bringing back that wow to us, that sense of marvel and beauty. We have judgment here at our root. Now, we have a lot of judgment going on because nobody wants to be told what to do. Everybody wants to be doing their own thing. And it's kind of like being in a band or an orchestra or anything like that. And everybody's playing their own music at their own time, and it all just sounds awful. So this is going to be a time where we have to be aware of that. The energy can be very chaotic and very harsh for us. So judgment comes in, and judgment has us moving past barriers that have been defining us for too long, looking at things that have been overwhelming and chaotic, looking at the box that we've been put in by society, looking at the box that we've put ourselves in, thinking, okay, this is what needs to be done. And now Spirit is saying here, why? Why can't we open up the world? Why can't we see things in a different light? We're going to be being forged through fire, doubts, fears, hardships, pains, chaos comes forward, and we're forged through it. We're seeing things differently because of it. And it brings us this sense of balance through that which is like physically intimidating and that which is small and not and can be easily overlooked. We start to see the balance of the energies within us. We start to see the part of our personalities that we've overlooked. We start to see the strength of our personalities that guide us forward. We're starting to look at it all much more intensely, much more openly, much more honestly than we have. And what we're going to see is that for so long we've been just taking things on, right? We've had swords stabbed in our backs. It can be over 10 years, it can be for longer, but what it really is the sense of every single lesson that we have learned in our lives, every single theme that has been replayed over and over and over again. And the 10 of Swords has us doubting ourselves as we move forward, has us looking at things differently, because we have this energy of can I handle more? Because it's the darkness before the dawn. It's a sense of, will the dawn ever come? And that's where the doubt comes in. It has us looking at things in a little bit more cynical way. And what Spirit is saying here, as we're looking at what we want, as we're turning inward and doubting our own judgment, it's like, you've still stood strong. You might be different because of everything that you've been through, Taurus. There might be harder times now, or it might be more difficult to trust, or there's a bit of disillusionment. But with the 10 of Swords, we see all the chaos, all the insight, all the ideas coming, and we see everything that we've learned, everything that hasn't destroyed us, or everything that has tried to destroy us, and we take the swords out of our backs. We take the swords out of our backs, and we move forward with tenacity, with insight, with ideas, with a sense of, there's so much more to me than even I realized. And what it has us looking at is, it has us look at overkill, everything that has become overkill, all right? But also everything that we take on, and it can be that we're just going to be really sensitive during this time to different ideas, because they're going to be hitting on the wounds that we have. There's going to be the sense of being really stressed and really spread thin. So just be mindful of that during this time, because we don't want to overburden ourselves. We don't want to overstress ourselves. The 3 of Swords comes in. And the 3 of Swords is the heartbreak, the pain, and the disappointment, the anger and the upset, the sense of, these are the things that have really hurt me, really scarred me, really overwhelmed me. But we don't look at them. We don't name them. And what Spirit is saying here is, name it. Give them names. Give names to the things that have been overwhelming to you. Give names to the things that have tried to break your heart, that have tried to destroy you. And when we start to give name to it, we start to set ourselves free. We start to see what it is that we desire. We start to see how it is that we move forward. And that leads us to the 6 of Swords, where it's all in our mind right now. And it's not saying that we're making it all up. It can be that it just has become too much and it's reached that boiling point, or that point where the pot has just lit on fire. So what we have here is the sense with the 6 of Swords, gathering up all our information, gathering up what we desire, and moving forward. We're really going to need to embrace our emotions, which emotions are going to be very key for us, but they're also going to be very overwhelming for us. We're taking our knowledge, which is going to be a safer place for us to be, though we do have a tendency to overthink things and to move to scars instead of to healing. So that's going to be something that we have to be aware of during this new moon. We take all our knowledge, we take all our insight, all our ideas, we start moving forward, we start going after what we need, what we want. We have, divinity guiding us, we have the sacred feminine, guarding us, and we have ourselves here as the children learning, seeing, gaining an understanding. It brings us to the Chariot. It brings us to our emotions needing to be reined in. Because if we don't rein them in, we're going to see that everything just flies everywhere. Everything is just too much, it's too overwhelming, it's too intense. And Spirit's saying here, rein in the emotions, know that we're going to be surrounded by emotions, that our heart is going to be leading a lot of this, even though we wish it was our head. And we're going to need to rein in what we want, we're going to need to look at what we really desire, and we're going to need to head in that direction to where we need to be. This is a time for honesty and openness. This is a time to embrace our hearts and our souls and what we truly want and desire, which leads us to temperance, which leads us to balance. We need to be balanced. That flexibility of the sacral chakra, that sense of balancing within ourselves towards wisdom is going to be paramount. If we don't look at it, if we don't find that balance, we're going to feel like we're missing a very big part of ourselves. So temperance comes in, balance comes in, insight comes in, and we start to study. We start to see. Our heart needs balance. Our heart needs this sense of, what we have learned and what we are learning coming together. And it then leads us to this place in the public arena where we're able to really embrace our voice. But we become a student of our voice because we didn't realize how powerful our voice actually is. We become a student of our voice. We become a student of what we desire. We become a student of cutting through a lot of doubts and fears and negativity. We start to see the majesty within us because remember, the sword is a noble weapon. In medieval times, only nobility could wield a sword. And there's this real sense of power coming into hand. There's this real sense of gaining the knowledge towards our freedom, towards what we truly want, towards where we truly want to be, towards what we truly desire. We're cutting through a lot of the nonsense. A lot of the nonsense is going to be coming from the past. Past hurts, past pains, past disappointments, past things that have tried to beat us down and that have stayed with us as scars, has stayed with us as mental scars. Just as if you have a scar on your body and when it gets cold or when it gets rainy or when it gets too hot, like the scar can start to hurt and itch and just become annoying and irritating. And that's what the emotional scars are like too. When things come up that put us in a situation that's, just overwhelming for us, they will start to itch and they will start to annoy us and the scars will start to come forward. And Spirit's saying here, what are the scars? What are the things that are holding us back? How can we become a student of this healing that we are going through addressing and understanding and naming and embracing our own inner power, which then leads the world to opening to us in a very real way, which leads us to finding where we stand within the world, which doesn't have to be this big, overwhelming, everybody knows my name sort of place. It could be a very quiet, very powerful, very beautiful place where we embrace who we are, when we embrace what we love, and where we start to say, this is me. This is what I want. This is what I desire. This is the way I'm moving forward. And Spirit starts to show us that our world is changing, that we're motivated to step into it in a different way. We're looking at things so differently now. So much is changing within us. So much has come forward that we used to just keep our mouths quiet about. And now we're saying, okay, what do I want? Where do I desire being? How do I move forward? What's okay for me? What isn't okay for me? Where is it that I need to be? And the world opens and we start to find where we stand within our world. It's finding our place within the world, which can sound condescending, but it's knowing who we are, right? It's not saying, oh, know your place type of thing. It's saying, know what makes you happy. Know what you desire from life. Know your responsibilities and what needs to be done. And then walk forward to where you need to be in order to shine, in order to embrace your heart, in order to embrace your understanding, in order to say, this is me. And that's what this new moon is really doing for us. It's saying, this is me. So let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Don't let pride get in the way. Growth. I like that. At the root, right here, don't let pride get in the way. Because we're going to have a tendency to have this, strong energy of pride coming forward, this strong kind of full moon in Leo energy coming forward that says, the pride taketh over. It's just going to be all about me, all about the ego, all about what I want, what I need. And Spirit's saying here, step back, because the growth at our root is going to come from this understanding of it's not about my ego anymore. It's about where I need to stand, why I need to be here. It's about my heart and my soul and what I desire. And sometimes those things are very hard to, separate. But what spirit, the ego is about how other people perceive us. Will they laugh at me if I do this? Will they understand it if I do that? And what spirit's saying is like, be who you are created to be. And sometimes that's the scariest thing. So let's see what the moon says inwardly. Your dreams need a practical plan. That's the full moon in Taurus. So inwardly, when we're looking at this heartbreak, this pain, this disappointment, that's all about our inner self, this darkness before the dawn. Our dreams need a practical plan. The full moon in Taurus comes forward and says, be practical. Keep your feet firmly planted on the ground. We're going to be embracing us. We need to look at us. And it says assessing. We're assessing the situations. We're assessing how we're moving forward. We're assessing where we want to be, where we don't want to be. What it is that we desire, what it is that we don't desire. And it leads us to the new moon in Taurus. So we're coming through so powerfully during this time. It says prosperity lies ahead. We just have to be brave enough to move in together. Do we will it or don't we? Because we have us being able to pull in our emotions, hone our emotions, look at what we desire, balance ourselves, balance what we need, balance what we want. Do we have the will to know that prosperity lies ahead? Or have we given up? Or have we just had too much? And then it leads us to adjustments are required, self-love. And that's going to be one of the big adjustments as we find our place within the world, as we find what we love, what we want, or we rekindle that love and that passion for our own existence. Adjustments are required. As we are a student of our voice, as we are a student of our mind, as we are a student of who we are and where we want to be, adjustments are required. Love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, nobody else will. Nobody else can love us the way that we love ourselves. And I know that this sounds silly, especially, if you find somebody that you're hopelessly in love with, they love us so tremendously and wonderfully. But that love can only go so far if we don't have the love for ourselves, also feeding that fire. Our subconscious Luna message is look at the big picture. Release. As we look at the bigger picture, we release all the negativity that we've been holding on to. This is a purging moon. This is a detoxifying moon. This is a moon that says, see yourself because I'm seeing you. Subconscious energy to be mindful of, the Prince of Wands. Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, hot-headed, youthful, yes, but they can also be somebody who's older and should know better, who just runs out without thinking. This could be us at times. We just want to go and not think and just do and not think. Spirit saying, always think, but also be very mindful for these hot-headed fools. Our subconscious chakra energy, at the root of it all is family. The family that we are born into, the family that raises us, the family that we create for ourselves, the family that loves us, our DNA family, our past life family, our family connection. It's going to be important. And it can also be important redefining family, redefining what is needed from or, desired from certain people. It brings us to our subconscious rooted message, which is the mage, the magician. As above, so below. As we believe it, so it becomes. I love that whenever the magician comes up. Because as we believe it, so it becomes. As we think about it, so it happens. Spirit saying, be aware of your mind. A lot of times we have worry, we have fear, we have chaos within ourselves. We don't even know it. It's become such a part of our day-to-day life. The fear is always simmering in the background. That's going to be one of the pots that just lights on fire. And what Spirit is saying here is stand before the altar of your existence. Know what it is that you want. Claim your power. Claim the very essence of your elemental truth. Claim what roots you. Claim what gives you breath and voice. Claim what sets your heart on fire with love. Claim what, nourishes your soul and your passion. Claim it all, what warms you. And see where that gets you. See what that does. When we start to see ourselves more than just the paycheck we bring in and the responsibilities that we have and the endless burdens, the endless, repetition. When we start to see the passion and the beauty and the brilliance. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that's judgment. That's the angels raising us up. That's a sense of being protected, but that's a sense also of hearing a greater call, hearing a greater purpose, being led to something more. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self. It's the Page of Cups. A child. A child from the most unexpected circumstances or ideas or, ways forward. This is also being a student of our heart, of what we love and want in our lives, of how we're moving forward, being cloaked in our heart chakra, and knowing that our heart is everything. Protecting it, understanding it, nourishing it, like we would protect and nourish a child. Emotions run high. This is not going to be an easy walk in the park time. Emotions do run high, but the brilliance here is amazing. Our subconscious inner self, not inner self, public arena self is the hermit, which is why Spirit had me say inner self. The public arena self has us turning inward. We're not going to be able to be like some people and just like kind of live on the stage during this time and be everything to everyone. We need to turn in. We need to see what we want, what we need, where our heart lies, what we're passionate about. And as we turn inward, we see different routes. We see different ways forward, and we see new ideas. And that's going to be a big thing for us. The sense of, oh, I didn't realize it. Oh, I didn't know I could move forward like that. And these revelations come our way. So the Hermit is Virgo energy, and the Hermit is really going to be us turning into flexibility of mind and really finding solace within our inner selves. All right. Wisdom is what the card says. All right, Taurus. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the freedom that this new moon brings. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus, and may you have a blessed moon.